Hey guys, welcome to the Studio 2 Lab. This week I asked for comments and questions about topics that are of interest to you: fitness, nutrition, performance, weight loss. And the first couple questions I got were about the impact of stress on weight loss and performance, and just all of those pieces that come into play. And one of the best ways that I can describe this is to use what's called the gas theory. It is Hans Selye's general adaptation syndrome, and it really addresses how our bodies respond initially and then adapt to stressors that are introduced, whether it's mental, emotional, physical stress, social stress. We have so many stressors coming at us from so many different areas throughout our day-to-day that we have to learn how to deal with that, but we also need to understand how our bodies utilize that stress to grow and to get stronger and to create new baseline capacity for dealing with stress. And so I've created a little graph here, and you'll see work capacity here, right? That's really as it relates to physical performance, but if you apply it to emotional or mental stress, it's really just our capacity to deal with that. So if this dotted purple here is sort of our baseline capacity, you'll see I've introduced a stressor here right at the beginning. This could be financial stress. How do I meet my bills each month? It could be, how do I deal with an uncomfortable relationship, or a really emotionally draining relationship at work or at home. From a physical standpoint, it could be weight training. It could be endurance training that stresses our bodies physically and breaks down our muscles. When that happens, our bodies go into alarm reaction. Right? This is cortisol gets released, adrenaline, blood pressure increases, right? When you're exercising and your body is stressed, your heart rate increases, we start sweating. This is no different than when a more abstract stressor is introduced, like mental or emotional stress, right? We're up on stage giving a speech, right? We're stressed out emotionally and mentally, and we start sweating and our heart starts racing. We're in a relationship that isn't comfortable for us, and we're having a conversation, and again that heart rate increases, blood pressure spikes. So all of those things are happening in this alarm reaction stage. It's that fight-flight response. Do we approach the situation? Do we get out of dodge, right? Do we flee the scene? It's how our bodies deal with stress. If that stress is introduced, the mechanism our body uses is called adaptation or resistance. So our immune system, when broken down, as we begin to adapt and that stressor is prolonged for a short period of time, our bodies can get stronger. Our bodies can deal with that stress because, one, they understand now how it impacts our bodies. The immune system has a great memory. It learns and it grows and it changes. From a physical standpoint, our muscles break down and protein synthesis happens and our muscles get stronger and our cells develop so that next time we hit the gym, we can lift more, we can run further, we can run faster. The only reason that this stress becomes a negative is if we don't give our bodies proper rest and recovery from it. If we don't release the stress, then what happens is we start to go into exhaustion, mental exhaustion, physical exhaustion, overtraining from a performance standpoint. That's this green catastrophic drop-off that you see here. And oftentimes we even end up below our original baseline because we're so broken down and we're so fatigued that we can't even perform at the level that we could initially. On the flip side of that, if we do give our bodies that proper rest and recovery, we do have a training plan that includes accurate recovery time, then our bodies super compensate. They start to improve and they start to create a new baseline. Okay, so if you're looking at from a performance standpoint, we always want to create a new baseline. from a mental and emotional standpoint, right, we need to have a mental skill set. We need to have a mental training plan just like we need a physical training plan. What are your coping mechanisms? When you find yourself in that turmoil, when you find yourself in that alarm stage because of mental, emotional, work-related stress, what are your mechanisms? And exercise is a great one, right? Exercise can provide relief from mental and emotional stress, but also mindfulness, breathing exercises, getting a monthly massage, journaling, going out with friends and just kind of releasing and refueling and regenerating some of those positive mechanisms. But if we don't do that, and if we don't have a solid mental and physical skill set that provides us release from this fight-flight response, or we're constantly holding on to energy, then we're stalling out weight loss, we're stalling out performance, we're putting ourselves at risk for depression, anxiety, all of those things, and just getting sick. You know, if you find yourself getting sick every time there's a bug going around, it's possible your immune system is broken down because you're not giving your body recovery time. Okay, so looking at this progression, recognize stressors, let your body respond, but be aware enough that as you start to adapt and as you start to improve your resistance levels, you break the cycle. You have outlets to get out of that stress mode, to get out of that alarm stage, so that we trend up rather than dropping off and below baseline. So impact is stress on physical, mental, emotional stress, how we deal with it. Keep writing in. If these sparked more questions, I'd love to answer them in our next series. Until then, have a great one, guys. See you next time.